The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Dedicated to empowering you with information,
to make positive choices,
and be advocates for your overall well-being.
Welcome to The Health View. Welcome to The Health View. I'm Yvonne Dunetz, and today we're going to be talking about community policing and the most important information that you need to know and the way that you can help out. And my guest is the Community Coordinator for Policing of the Nashua Police Department. And his name is Ed Lecius. And Ed, I'm delighted to have you with us today.
Well, I'm pleased to be here, Yvonne. It's kind of ironic. I guess it was long ago, but the roles were reversed. I was interviewing you.
That's true.
When you were on the school board.
Oh, my gosh.
A lot of time has passed, and
it has.
We've both moved on to new and exciting careers since then.
It really has. So when it comes to policing and community policing, our world obviously has changed, and there's so many things going on that are different now than perhaps they were years ago that causes us to pause and take the time to help people have information so that they do not react to situations and that they can calmly respond to them. In your role, what have you seen are the differences, and what is the most important information that you would want people to know?
Well, I think society has changed.
Yes.
I mean, growing up, we knew our neighbors knew us. You didn't have as many diverse family makeups at the time. Mm-hmm. Neighborhoods were smaller. Nashua was 25,000 people in. Now we're close to 90. And everybody knew everybody, and a lot of people walked to work. I can remember seeing police and firefighters, walking to work, or especially the firemen in our neighborhood. They would be walking home at the end of shift at 8 o'clock in the morning, and in those days they would wear their first-class uniforms to and from the office, so to speak. And so everybody knew everybody. Now you have single-parent families. You have both parents working. Older children are in charge of their younger siblings.
And we have people who have moved here from a variety of different places to join our community.
Our ethnic makeup in Nashua has changed from when I grew up.
The diversity is amazing.
It was your French, Irish, Polish, Lithuanian, and now we have various Hispanic, Asian, Bhutanese, and it just goes on. And so we're getting a reinvigoration of ethnicity and new cultures and new people and ideas and things to see. And I think that's great for the city of Nashua. But it does bring the challenge of people coming into the city who are unaware of certain things, or that we do things differently here than they do in their countries. And with some of the folks in their native lands, if the police come for you, sometimes you're never seen again. And our biggest challenge with some of the groups has been to explain to them that that's not how it works here. The police are here to help you, along with the other first responders. And it's an ongoing education process. A couple of years ago, Chief Lavoie and members of the department management team, along with Nashua's ethnic community, began what was called a community conversation, whereas men and women and young adults from all walks of life have gathered several times for meetings at Riv University to discuss their concerns, their questions. Why do police do things the way they do them? And it's been wonderful because, we've learned some of their perceptions that they have of us and misperceptions, and they have got a better understanding of how we do our jobs and why we have to do what we do in some instances. And it's been great. We've had several of those public conversation meetings. There are ongoing monthly meetings of a smaller portion of that group.
Wonderful.
But we are trying to involve and engage all of Nashua's communities, no matter what you look like, where you come from. And that in turn, helps us to get our message out in today's ever-changing world.
Yes.
And, we don't believe those who say it can never happen in Nashua, New Hampshire. Because it can. I mean, we have several facilities here that are high target facilities.
Like what?
The FAA Center, a major shopping mall, 2 major hospitals, 2 significantly sized high schools, just to name a few.
So how would we advise people as to what they need to do if in just their normal way of life to be more aware?
It comes down to the very simple, see something, say something. And, we were talking because you and Sergeant Mike Kelleher, who's long retired from Nashua PD, actually started the Neighborhood Crime Watch program in Nashua. It's changed. We have 24 groups now that are active.
Fantastic.
Some meet every month, some meet every other month, some meet quarterly. I've got 2 that meet once a year, but it works for them. And they'll tell us when we'll bring up something. Well, we didn't want to call you. We didn't want to bother you. And we've tried to instill in them that our men and women are there 24/7, 365 days a year. And they would much rather come to your home or your neighborhood and find out that there was nothing to what you thought than to not call and have something tragic happen or have a home broken into and then the officer spends the rest of their shift taking a report. And so we instill that. Call us. You're not going to bother us.
Call 911
Well, it
or a
depends.
different number?
It depends, but it comes down to if you are in fear of your personal safety, call 911. And we're not going to say to you, Yvonne, that really should have been a regular number.
Right.
Call 911.
Yeah.
It goes to Concord initially, and then in about a nanosecond, it comes down to Nashua once they determine what you're calling for. We tell our neighborhood watch groups to program our main number into their cell phones.
Okay.
And that number is 603-594-3500.
Now, if a community doesn't have a neighborhood watch program, how can they participate and reach out to the police department to start one?
They can get a hold of me, and what I do along with our crime prevention officer, Bill Adamson, is we will pull some data for their area, and we'll have that proverbial first meeting,
Yes.
and we'll go in, and we'll kind of talk about what the concept is, and it's changed. We used to have neighborhood on patrol, and
Right.
people would be out walking in groups, walking around their neighborhoods. No. Since the incident down in Florida, we don't want people doing that. We don't want people putting themselves in harm's way. We want them to be observant.
Okay.
So if they see someone suspicious, if they see a suspicious motor vehicle, or if they know that the people across the street from them are gone away on vacation, but yet their cars are parked in the driveway and lights are on in the house, call us. You can remain anonymous if you so choose. They are going to ask for your name. They may ask for some other data, address, and other things for statistical purposes in our reporting to the Department of Justice. But you can say, I wish to remain anonymous. Give us the best description of you can of the person or persons or the vehicle. Never, ever confront. Don't put yourself in harm's way. I've said that a couple of times because
Important.
it is important. And call us, and we'll come out. One of the reasons we ask for a name and a callback number is that the officer may get there, and whatever it is you call the report may not be happening, or the person or the vehicle may be gone. And it gives us an opportunity to follow up so we can get back to you. And if you just want a phone call, just say, I'd like to have the officer call me to find out how it turned out. They'll do that. And we'll follow up with you and saying, well, we're here. We don't notice anything. Did you happen to see what direction they left in? So it goes both ways. It's helpful. But even if you don't have a crime watch and there's just a couple of you, be aware of your surroundings, whether it's in your neighborhood, when you're out going out to eat, going out shopping, Always be aware of your surroundings.
What are the things you should be looking for?
Well, if
or
you think,
be aware
if you think
of?
someone's following you,
Okay.
Stay in a lighted area and, go back into a store and call us. Or see the store manager and tell them you think someone's following you, and they'll call us, or you call us, and we'll come out and we'll check it out. You go back to your vehicle at night. Take a look in the back seat. Now, I know with today's tinted windows that may be a little hard, but have your key out so you're not standing there looking for it. Have your key out. And some people now with their automatic starters start the car before you get there, and be ready to enter it when you reach it. And again, just be cognizant of things around you. You're out walking in the neighborhood. If you can walk with someone, that's fine. Walk in well-lit areas. Don't go off the beaten path. And even during the day, if you like to run, make sure you're running with someone, or you're in an area that's pretty well out in the open and exposed, so that you don't have to worry. But always be mindful of where you are, what might be around you, and park in well-lit areas at night if you can.
And also be observant on how, whenever you enter anywhere, be observant on how to get out. At least
Absolutely.
more than one entry in and exit out, so that if need be, if anything is going on that may be an emergency, be it a fire or even a shooter situation, that you're able to get out. Now, in a shooter situation, what should people do?
Well, if you can get out safely, do that. If not, we encourage you to try to locate a safe area and barricade yourself within. And last resort, if you're in a position to confront the shooter, engage them. But that would be the last step.
So when you say
Exit,
that would mean...
engage, or...
how to engage? What are you saying when you're saying that?
If, depending on the situation, it all would be different.
Okay.
We have offered active shooter courses
Okay.
at the police department, and a number of folks have gone through that.
Right.
We will do that for local businesses. We have had training, recently they had the situation at Dartmouth Hitchcock.
Yes.
We, about a year or so ago, had a very excellent drill with Southern New Hampshire Medical Center.
What happened
And
in
a
that
number of
drill?
resources. We did an active shooter situation in the hospital.
Okay.
And it was well role-played. The hospital staff, the fire department, AMR, and Nashua Police. And they learned a lot from it. They got some good video footage of it, and they've now used that as a training tool. And we're constantly out there.
Do you do it in the schools too? Some training
In the
with
schools,
the schools?
yes. Mostly during school vacation. A couple of years ago, every SWAT team in the state, there were about 10 of them at the time, came here to Nashua during, I think it was February school vacation. We got a lot of calls because they staged over in St. Philip's parking lot. And then they went into South. They had some students that role-played, and they undertook action as if it was an active shooting situation. And not only Nashua trained, but other departments from around the state. And we practice that all the time. We have planning for all of the schools in Nashua, public and private, since the incident in Newtown.
Yes.
Even though we've reduced the number of school resource officers, we have one in each high school and one that covers the middle schools and the elementary schools. Any officer that has a school in their sector, city's broken up into sectors, since Newtown, they are required to stop into that school once a day, and don't always stop at the same time. Some days when you go in, just check into the office. If it happens to be lunchtime, walk through the cafeteria, and just be seen in the school. And that's worked out very well, and the school department's been very appreciative and cooperative with us on that.
Now, what about our drug problem or situation within the state of New Hampshire, as well as locally in the city? How has that affected the nature of the work that the police need to do, and as well as their collaboration with the other resources in the city?
Well, it's certainly kept us busy. Since last fall, we've had over 800 arrests. Since the fire department started the Safe Stations program, the number of overdoses has gone down, but unfortunately the number of deaths so far this year have gone up. Part of it is the carfentanil, fentanyl that's being used that is extremely dangerous, to the point where our officers have changed the types of gloves they're using, and to limit and minimize their exposure to some of these unknown drugs when they arrive on a scene. So it's an ongoing challenge. We were just fortunate to receive an additional $260,000 under the Granite Hammer, or what was the Granite Hammer program, a year ago, to continue to eradicate it that way. The number of prescriptions that are being written have declined statewide. That's part of it. But there's still a strong flow of drugs into southern New Hampshire, primarily. But if you talk to others, it's gone up above Concord into the Lakes region and as far north as Berlin. It's just not as prevalent, and you don't hear about it every day. Whereas here in Nashua, I believe the fire department has just gone over 900 safe station calls, and it's out there, and that leads to other things. To feed their habits, people are looking to steal prescription drugs, and so that's why we've encouraged, along with the DEA drug take back, we have a drug drop-off box in our lobby at the police station. You don't have to check in. You can walk through the door. It's a big red box just to the left as you come in. Just go and put the drugs in. The only thing we ask is no liquids or no needles. Needles can be turned in at any of the hospitals in Nashua.
Any particular area of the hospital they can be
just
returned?
go in and
main entry, and
in the main
they'll guide
entrance
you
and tell
to
them
where to go.
tell them what you have. And so we're trying to combat it that way. It still boggles our minds that when we do one of these drug collection days along with the DEA, with all the 10 communities around Nashua, the 10 communities around Nashua don't take in as many pounds of drugs as we do in Nashua alone. It's unbelievable. It's been that way ever since they started the drug take-back days.
Wow.
So it's good that people are turning them in.
These are old medications they're not using, or any
you
type
have a
of
knee
medication?
replaced, and they give you Percocet
Right.
or something else, and you
just
you
sitting
go
in your
home,
cabinet
and then you slowly wean yourself off of them, hopefully. But you've got 30, 20 pills left, depending on how many you receive, and you just leave them in the medicine cabinet. You forget about them. Unfortunately, your kids have friends come over, and they'll look there and they'll see them and they'll grab a couple, and you've forgotten that they're there, so you haven't even noticed that they've taken them, and that's how part of it starts sometimes. So the medical profession is also working with the state to cut back on the number of prescriptions and the amount of pills given in those prescriptions. But it's got to be an effort by everybody, because it also leads to crimes. We've had a rash recently of thefts from motor vehicles. The Fairmont Street area, the Ridge Road area. Part of the problem is people are embarrassed because 9 out of 10 of those thefts, the cars weren't locked. And they're looking for a quick score. I mean, loose change that we all throw in our coffee cup holders after we buy something and get change back. We go to work out at the gym, and so we take our bracelets off and our jewelry, men and women, and just throw it in the coffee cup holder. We forget about it when we get home. We forget to lock the car. They're looking for quick hits. The days of smashing the window and grabbing have pretty much gone away. So they're just walking around trying car doors, and if they find one, they'll go quick, and they're in and out in less than 30 seconds. Wow. And that's, again, to feed the drug habit.
So people need to remember to lock their doors.
Lock their cars. We tell people to put motion sensor lights on their garages or around their homes, little things like that.
What else?
Make sure your house is secure.
And how do you make sure that it's secure?
Is the door closed tightly, the front door, the back door, side door?
Do you have a deadbolt on it?
If not, make sure you get it fixed. Deadbolts are good. Your rear windows, make sure they lock securely. And then again, if you got a lot of shrubs around your windows, trim them down. A perfect spot for somebody to hide and break into a home when nobody's around.
And when you leave the house, make sure that not
sure
only your
everything's
doors
locked,
are
yep.
locked, your windows are locked.
Absolutely. So it's Common sense.
And then that your lights, if you're away, are on a timer or whatever so that it looks like you're still there.
Absolutely.
And that if you are away, you have people that are looking out, picking up your mail, making sure that the mail and the
Or
newspapers
stop your mail,
are
stop
on
your
hold.
newspaper, and
And make sure if it's the winter time that you have somebody plow your snow, make it look
yeah,
like that you're
absolutely.
there.
See, you got it down. You haven't forgotten since you started the Crime Watch.
No.
It's basically the same thing.
It's basically the same thing.
But again, people's lives have changed so much. They're busy, working, taking the kids here and there, single parents, and all of that makes for almost the perfect storm. So yeah, you got to be cognizant. And we're so busy, we don't know our neighbors today.
No, it's
Before
true.
everyone knew everybody. Now you may not know the person living across the street from you or on either side of you, only because you're busy, they're busy, and you haven't taken the time to introduce each other. And
Or
you
have
know, we are,
community gatherings like there
and we're
used to
getting
be.
into fall, so now everybody's going to hibernate for the winter, or some people who do go away are going to be gone, and so that won't really happen again until next spring when people start coming out again.
Walking outside. It's very unusual, but it is part of living in New England. That happens because of the weather.
It does.
So from a neighborhood watch point of view, what are the most important things that you tell people that can apply to everybody of things that they need to do? Now, I know you mentioned about keeping your home secure and making sure that the doors are locked and that there are deadbolts and that you make sure you lock your car doors and your windows. And what other things would you want people to know?
Well, part of it depends on why the watch was started. What was the issue or issues that drove them to call us and say we want to form a neighborhood group?
Mm-hmm.
And
But the information applies to everybody, even if they don't have a
it does,
watch.
but we don't cookie cutter the groups.
Right.
We'll come in and we'll design the watch to meet the issues.
Yes.
And the issues can be anything from loud noise. You think someone might be doing something illegal out of their home. Suspicious cars, suspicious people. And it's got to start by just calling us. 594-3500. Call us, report it, and when you do call, be as descriptive and provide as much information as you can to the communications tech that's taking that. Because when you call, it'll get prioritized depending on what else is going on. And second shift, which normally runs 3 to 11, is our busiest. So if you call and just say there's a group of kids hanging out at the end of such and such a street, depending what else is going on, that may get a low priority. But if you call and you say there's just about 20 kids at the end of the street and they have baseball bats and they're fighting, it's going to get a higher priority. So as much information as you can give us.
And if it's a suspicious car, you want to know the color of the car, if you can, the make of the car, the license of the car. If you can get that license number, that
Without
plate license,
putting yourself
without
in
putting
danger.
yourself in
Yes.
danger. Always remember not to put yourself in danger. And then if it's a person that is suspicious, to be able to get a good assessment of how they look so that you can give a description. What they're wearing, any significant markings or whatever that make it different, so that people can be aware. So from a business point of view, when people are working in business, what should they be doing in order of their own awareness if anything does look unusual or out of the ordinary?
Well, depending on the business, if you have people that come into the store and they seem to be acting suspiciously, and if you're the only one on duty, that makes it tough. But if there's somebody else there, you can kind of keep an eye on them. Most businesses have security cameras today, and those are very helpful to us if a crime is committed. And it comes back to be aware of your surroundings as you're leaving the business. Make sure if you can, to park in a well-lit area. And you know, our crime prevention officer, Bill Adamson, will come out and do a survey of your business or your home and provide you with a report as to suggested things that you can do to make your home even safer or your business even safer.
So how many people do that? Who do they call?
Bill Adamson.
At what number?
You can call him at the main number, 594-3500, and ask for Officer Bill Adamson.
And what would they be requesting?
Crime prevention would come do an assessment of their home or their business to see what needs tightening up or what needs changing. And it's no cost to you. And he comes out and he takes pictures, and he'll write up a report and come back to you and give you the report. And many people have made those suggested changes and let their insurance companies know that they've in fact done this, and that helps them save a few pennies with their insurance.
So within our last few minutes of the program, what would you want people to remember as far as what they can do to protect themselves and their loved ones?
Call us. The only dumb call, I like to say, is the one you don't make. We're not going to say, Yvonne, you shouldn't have called us about that. We're going to take the call, and every person that calls, it generates a control number. So that officer has to respond, and there has to be a disposition. So it's going to get looked at. And that may turn out to be nothing, but that's okay. It'll just say services rendered. But call us, and don't feel ashamed, embarrassed, because we are here to serve the citizens of Nashua.
So anything that is suspicious looking, any people suspicious, any cars suspicious, whatever.
Anything that looks out of place. We had an incident a couple of years ago down the south end of the city. People knew that the people were away, and they saw a couple of vans there, but it looked like they were construction vans, so they thought they were doing work at the home. And it turns out they cleaned out the house. And several people had walked past it that day, and then afterwards, when we were investigating it, they were trying to rethink in their minds, recreate in their minds what the vans looked like, what the persons looked like. And again, they knew they weren't there, and we just said, next time call.
Absolutely. So
It's
realize
important.
what's normal for your community, your home area, your school area. Be observant. Make sure you're safe. Make sure that you take the precautions that you need to. But whenever in doubt, call the Nashua Police Department.
You got it.
And you call what number?
594-3500.
And when do you call 911?
When you are in fear, or if you're not sure, if you're in fear of your personal safety, dial 911.
Or if you've seen something that it's of an emergency
quickly?
nature, or
Yes.
something has happened where somebody needs help immediately, or a situation is in trouble and needs the services of the police, to immediately call 911.
Yes.
So again, the 911 for emergency, and the other number to call for neighborhood watch, for getting an assessment, for further information is?
594-3500.
We thank you very much and appreciate everything you do.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Until next time.